Captain Kim Tae-ho looked at the control panel and frowned. Something was wrong with their ship. The lights were blinking in ways they should not blink. The engine was making sounds it had never made before. Behind him, his crew was trying to figure out what was happening. "So, men, check our position," Tae-ho said to his navigator. Park So-min was the best navigator in the Korean Space Agency. She could find her way through space better than anyone else. So-min looked at her screens and shook her head. "The stars are all wrong, Captain. This is not where we should be." Lee Dong-wook, their engineer, was under a control panel with his tools. He was a big man with strong hands, perfect for fixing things that broke. "The faster-than-light drive is acting crazy," he called out. "It did something it was not supposed to do." Choi Hye-jin sat at the communications desk. She was trying to contact Earth, but nothing was working. "I cannot reach anyone back home," she said. "It is like Earth does not exist." The ship Mugunghwa was humanity's first real starship. It was not very big, and it was not very fast compared to what they saw in movies. But it was theirs, and it worked. Usually, they had been on a simple mission. Go to the Kepler 442 system, look around, take some pictures, and come home. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. Just a regular job that would help scientists back on Earth learn more about space, but now they were lost. "Captain," So-min said, her voice worried, "something big is coming toward us." On the main screen, they could see it. A hole in space itself, dark and swirling like a whirlpool. It was getting bigger and pulling them in. "Dong-wook, can you get us out of here?" Tae-ho asked. "Not a chance," Dong-wook replied. He climbed out from under the panel, grease on his face. "The drive is completely broken. We are going wherever that thing wants to take us." The hole in space grabbed their ship and pulled them through. For a moment, everything went black. Then everything went white. Then everything spun around, like they were inside a washing machine. When it stopped, they were somewhere else. "Where are we now?" Tae-ho asked. So-min checked her instruments again. "I have no idea, but look outside." Through the windows, they could see a planet below them. It was not like Earth. This planet had purple oceans and golden continents. 3 moons hung in a green sky. Cities covered the land, but they were not human cities. The buildings were too tall, too strange, too alien. "That is definitely not Kepler 442, Hye-jin said. "The ship is falling," Dong-wook announced. "The engines are dead. We are going to crash." Tae-ho grabbed the controls and tried to steer their falling ship. He was a good pilot, but there was not much he could do without engines. "Everyone hold on! This is going to be rough!" The ship fell through the green sky toward the alien planet. Tae-ho aimed for what looked like an empty area near one of the huge cities. The ground came up fast, too fast. They crashed. When Tae-ho woke up, his head hurt and smoke was filling the ship. "Is everyone okay?" he called out. "I am alive," So-min said from somewhere in the smoke. "Same here," Dong-wook replied. "Me too," Hye-jin added. They found the emergency exit and climbed out of their broken ship. Outside, they could see they had crashed in the middle of something important. There were aliens everywhere. Lots of aliens. The aliens were not like humans at all. Some looked like giant lizards walking on 2 legs. Others had too many arms and eyes that glowed different colors. Some had fur, some had scales, some had skin that changed colors. All of them were staring at the 4 humans who had just fallen from the sky. "Well," Tae-ho said, looking around at the crowd of aliens, "this is new." The aliens had been watching some kind of parade before the humans crashed. There were big machines rolling down a wide street. Soldiers in shiny armor were marching in. Perfect lines. Flags with strange symbols waved in the air. Music that sounded like metal grinding against metal played from speakers. The crash had ruined everything. The parade stopped. The music stopped. Everyone was looking at the smoking wreck and the 4 humans standing next to it. "Should we run?" So-Min whispered. "Where would we run to?" Dong-Wook asked. "We are on an alien planet. I do not think there is anywhere to hide." Before they could decide what to do, soldiers surrounded them. These soldiers were tall and covered in armor that looked like it was made from mirrors. They carried weapons that hummed with energy and pointed them at the humans. One of the soldiers stepped forward and said something in a language that sounded like rocks falling down a mountain. "I do not think they are asking if we need help," Hyejin said. Taeho raised his hands to show he was not dangerous. The other humans did the same thing. "We are peaceful," he said, even though he knew they could not understand him. More aliens arrived. These ones wore fancy clothes and had important looks on their faces. One of them, a huge lizard-like creature with golden scales, pointed at the humans and made angry sounds. "I think we interrupted something important," So-Min said. A small device was brought over and placed near the humans. It made beeping sounds, then started talking in perfect Korean. "I am a universal translator," the device said. "Please state your species and your purpose here." The humans looked at each other. They had found aliens, and the aliens had better technology than Earth did. This was either very good or very bad. "We are humans from the planet Earth," Taeho said to the device. "We are explorers. Our ship broke and we crashed here by accident. We do not want to cause any trouble." The translator device beeped and made the rock-falling sounds. All the aliens started talking at once. Some pointed at the humans. Others pointed at the broken ship. Everyone seemed very excited or very angry. The big golden lizard alien stepped forward, and the translator spoke for him. "I am General Vakthar of the Galactic Dominion Imperial Guard. You have crashed in the middle of Emperor Kralvex's victory celebration. This is a serious crime." "We are sorry," Taeho said. "It was an accident. We did not know there was a celebration happening." "You did not know?" General Vakthar sounded surprised. "How could you not know? The Emperor's victory over the Zorathi Federation is being celebrated on every world in the Dominion. The news was sent to all civilized species months ago." "We are not from around here," So-Min explained. "We are from very far away." "How far?" the general asked. Hyejin pulled out her tablet and showed them a picture of Earth from space. "About 65,000 light-years that way," she said, pointing up at the sky. The aliens all got very quiet. They looked at the picture, then at the humans, then at each other. "That is impossible," General Vakthar said. "There are no civilized species in that region of space. We have checked." "Maybe you missed us," Dong-Wook suggested. "Earth is pretty small, and we only started going to space recently." The general made a sound like grinding metal. The translator said this meant he was thinking hard. "You will come with us," he finally decided. "The Emperor will want to meet these humans who claim to be from unexplored space." More soldiers surrounded them. The humans were led away from their crashed ship toward the biggest, strangest building they had ever seen. It was taller than mountains and made of what looked like crystal and gold mixed together. "Do you think they are going to hurt us?" So-Min whispered as they walked. "I do not know," Taeho replied, "but so far they seem more confused than angry." "That is good, right?" Hyejin asked. "Let us hope so," Dong-Wook said. As they walked through the alien city, the humans saw things they had never imagined. Flying cars moved through the air without making any noise. Buildings grew like plants, getting taller as they watched. Aliens of all shapes and sizes stopped to stare at the strange new creatures being escorted through their streets. "This is either going to be the greatest discovery in human history," Taeho said, "or the last thing we ever see." "Both, probably," So-Min replied. The palace gates opened ahead of them, and the 4 humans from Earth walked into the heart of the Galactic Dominion, having no idea that they were about to accidentally change the course of galactic history. The throne room was the biggest room any of the humans had ever seen. The ceiling was so high they could not see it in the shadows above. Columns made of some kind of glowing stone held up the roof. Everything was decorated with gold and jewels that sparkled in the light. At the far end of the room sat Emperor Kralvex on a throne that looked like it was carved from a single giant diamond. The Emperor was huge, even bigger than General Vakthar. His scales were deep red with black patterns that moved and changed as they watched. His eyes glowed yellow like fire. When he breathed, small puffs of actual fire came from his nose. Around the throne stood hundreds of aliens. Some wore fancy clothes covered in metals. Others wore robes that seemed to be made of liquid starlight. All of them were staring at the 4 humans as they were led forward. "These are the creatures that crashed into our celebration?" Emperor Kralvex asked. His voice was so deep it made the floor shake. "Yes, Your Imperial Majesty," General Vakthar replied. "They claim to be from a planet called Earth beyond our borders." The Emperor leaned forward to get a better look at the humans. "They are very small, and they have no claws, no fangs, no armor. How do they survive?" Teho stepped forward. He was nervous, but he tried not to show it. "We use tools and work together. That is how humans survive." "Tools?" The Emperor laughed, and fire shot from his mouth. "What kind of tools could such weak creatures make?" Dongwook pulled out his tablet and showed the Emperor a picture of Seoul at night. "We build cities. We have machines that fly. We can talk to each other across our whole planet instantly." The aliens in the throne room started whispering to each other. The translator picked up some of their words: primitive, impossible, and how do they do that without claws? So Min took out her phone and showed them a video of cats playing. "We also keep small animals as friends. We call them pets." The Emperor stared at the screen. "You keep predators in your homes? Are you not afraid they will eat you?" "Cats are not very dangerous," So Min explained. "They are small and fluffy. They like to sleep in sunny spots and chase toys." "Toys?" one of the alien courtiers asked. "What are toys?" Hyejin showed them a video of children playing with dolls and toy cars. "Things we make for fun, especially for our young ones." The aliens looked very confused. An advisor with purple skin and 6 arms leaned over to whisper something to the Emperor. "My science minister says your species makes objects with no practical purpose?" the Emperor asked. "Some things are just for fun," Teho explained. "Fun is important." "Fun?" The Emperor repeated the word like he had never heard it before. Dongwook was looking around the throne room while everyone else talked. He was an engineer, so he always noticed how things were built. "Your architecture is very impressive," he said to the Emperor, "but those support columns are not in the right places. You could save a lot of material and make the building stronger if you moved them." Every alien in the room went completely silent. Several guards reached for their weapons. "You dare criticize the Imperial Palace?" General Vakthar shouted. "Oh, sorry," Dongwook said. "I was just making an observation. On Earth, we always try to improve our buildings. Making things better is normal for us." "Making things better?" The Emperor's voice was dangerous now. "Are you saying the Palace of the Galactic Dominion is not perfect?" "Nothing is perfect," Dongwook replied. "There is always room for improvement. That is how we learn and grow." The aliens started talking all at once. The translator could not keep up with all the different languages being spoken. But the humans could tell that most of the aliens were upset. "Silence!" the Emperor roared. Fire filled the air above his head. "These creatures are either very brave or very stupid." "Probably a little bit of both," Teho admitted. So Min was looking at her phone. "Captain, I am getting a signal. I think I can contact Earth." "Really?" Hyojin asked. How? The planet has some kind of communication network that is compatible with our technology. It is very advanced, but simple to use. So Min tapped her phone a few times, then held it up. Hello? Seoul Mission Control? This is Park So-min from the Mugunghwa. A voice came from the tiny speaker. So-min, where have you been? You missed your check-in 3 days ago. We had some problems with the faster-than-light drive. We are currently on an alien planet meeting their emperor. Alien planet? Are you serious? Very serious. There is a whole galactic empire here. Thousands of worlds, millions of different species. It is quite impressive. The aliens in the throne room were listening to this conversation with growing amazement. They had never seen such casual communication across space before. So are these aliens friendly? The voice from Earth asked. So Min looked around at all the weapons pointed at them. They seem nice enough. A bit formal, though. Everything is very ceremonial here. Well, be polite and try not to start any wars. We will do our best. So Min ended the call and put her phone away. Sorry about that. My boss gets worried when we do not report in on time. Emperor Kralvex looked like his brain was trying to process something too big to understand. You just spoke with your home planet, across thousands of light years, using a device smaller than my claw. Yes, So-min said. Is that unusual? Our fastest communication systems take hours to send messages between star systems, the Emperor said slowly. How do you do this instantly? Quantum entanglement networks, He-jin explained. We figured it out about 20 years ago. Very useful for staying in touch. The science minister with purple skin fainted. Your Majesty, General Vakthar said, perhaps we should study these humans more carefully. Their technology seems unusual. Agreed, the Emperor said. You will be our guests while we learn more about your species and your planet. That sounds nice, Tae-ho said. Thank you for your hospitality. Guests who cannot leave, the general added. Oh, prisoners. Then Tae-ho nodded. That is less nice, but understandable. We did crash your party. The Emperor assigned them rooms in the palace. The rooms were huge and filled with furniture sized for much larger beings. The beds were like swimming pools. The chairs were too big to sit in. But there were smaller pieces of furniture that worked well enough. This is weird, So-min said, looking around their shared quarters. I feel like a child in an adult's house. At least they are not trying to hurt us, Dong-wook pointed out. They seem more curious than angry. Hye-jin was setting up her equipment. I am going to send a full report to Earth. The government should know about this. What should we tell them? Tae-ho asked. The truth, Hye-jin replied. We found a galactic empire. They found us. Now we are stuck here while they figure out what to do with us. She typed her message and sent it to Earth. Then they waited. The next day, alien scientists came to study them. They asked hundreds of questions about human biology, human technology, and human society. The humans answered as best they could. You have only one government for your entire planet? Dr. Zethkai asked. She was a small alien who looked like a walking flower. No, we have many governments, Tae-ho explained. They argue with each other a lot, but they usually work together when something important happens. How do you make decisions without a central authority? We vote. Everyone gets a say, and the majority decides. Dr. Zethkai looked confused. Everyone? Even the weak ones? Even the stupid ones? Everyone, So-min confirmed. We believe all humans should have a voice in how they are governed. But what if they choose poorly? Sometimes they do, Dong-wook admitted. But usually people are smart enough to choose what is best for them. The alien scientists found human society very strange. They could not understand how a species could survive without strict hierarchy and absolute authority. Do you not have wars? Dr. Zethkai asked. We used to have many wars, Hye-jin said. But we learned that working together gives better results than fighting. You learned this? How? Practice, making mistakes, trying new things until we found what worked. Your species experiments with governance? We experiment with everything, Tejo said. That is how we improve. That afternoon, Dongwook was allowed to look at some of the palace's technical systems. He spent an hour examining the power distribution network, then wrote up a report suggesting 12 different improvements. You wrote this in one afternoon? The chief engineer asked. His name was Mek Tar, and he looked like a robot made of living metal. It is not very complicated, Dongwook said. You just need to balance the load better and eliminate some redundant pathways. These improvements would increase efficiency by 30%. Probably more than that. This is just what I could see quickly. Mek Tar stared at the report for a long time. On my world, engineers study for decades before they are allowed to suggest improvements to existing systems. How long did you study? Dongwook asked. 47 years. That seems like a long time. On Earth, we believe the best way to learn. Engineering is to build things and see what happens. What if they break? Then we fix them and build them better next time. Word of the humans' strange ideas began to spread through the palace. Soon, aliens from all over the empire were coming to ask them questions. They wanted to know about human democracy, human engineering, human communication technology, and human cats. The cats were particularly popular. You mean they just live in your homes and do nothing useful? Asked a warrior from the Vrex Empire. 3 months had passed since the humans crashed on Viridian Prime. During that time, Emperor Kralvex had been thinking very hard about what to do with Earth. The humans had been honest about their planet's location. They had shown the aliens pictures and videos of Earth. They had explained human technology and human society. Everything they said suggested that Earth would be easy to conquer. Earth had no planetary shields. Earth had no space fleet. Earth's weapons were primitive compared to Dominion technology. The humans seemed friendly and peaceful. It should be a simple conquest, but something bothered the Emperor. These humans were too calm about everything. They acted like being prisoners in an alien empire was just a minor inconvenience. When he told them he was planning to conquer their planet, they just shrugged and said, "Okay, but good luck with that." "Why are you not afraid?" he had asked Tejo during one of their conversations. "Should we be?" Tejo replied. "You seem reasonable. I am sure you will make fair decisions. I am planning to invade your world. Yes, you mentioned that. We told our government. They said they would prepare some coffee for when you arrive. This was not the response Emperor Kralvex was used to getting. But an emperor could not appear weak by changing his mind. The conquest fleet was assembled. 10,000 of the Empire's best warships were loaded with weapons that could crack planets, and bombs that could destroy reality itself. Admiral Vorthak was put in command. He was the Empire's greatest military leader. He had conquered 47 worlds and never lost a single battle. He was confident that Earth would surrender the moment they saw his fleet. "Your Majesty," Admiral Vorthak said as he prepared to leave. "These humans seem to think their planet is somehow special. Should we be concerned?" Emperor Kralvex looked at the human prisoners. They were sitting in the palace garden, playing cards and teaching young alien nobles about something called poker. They looked completely unconcerned about the massive fleet that was about to attack their home. "I do not know," the Emperor admitted. "But proceed carefully. These humans are strange." The conquest fleet left Viridian Prime and jumped into hyperspace. It would take them 3 months to reach Earth. On Earth, things were surprisingly normal. President Martinez of the Pan American Union had received Hyejin's report about the Galactic Empire. She had shared it with the other world leaders. Everyone agreed that this was probably important, but Earth had more immediate problems to deal with. Climate change was still an issue. The economy needed attention. There were elections coming up in several countries. A possible alien invasion seemed like something to worry about later. Are we taking this seriously enough? asked Director Kim Yoon-sik of the Korean Space Agency during a video conference with world leaders. "What are we supposed to do?" replied Prime Minister Chen Wei of the East Asian Federation. "Build a space fleet in 3 months? We barely have a dozen ships that can leave Earth's orbit." "The aliens might be friendly," suggested President Okafor of the African Union. "Our people said they were being treated well." "They also said a conquest fleet was coming," Director Kim pointed out. "Yes, but they did not sound worried about it," President Martinez added. Hyejin's last message said they were teaching aliens to play card games. Dr. Yoon Ji-hai from Seoul National University had been studying the technical data the humans had sent back about alien technology. "Their weapons should not work properly in Earth's local space," she announced during a meeting with government. "Scientists?" "What do you mean?" asked Dr. Sarah Chen from MIT. "Earth sits in a quantum anomaly field," Dr. Yoon explained. "We have always known our local physics were a bit strange. That is why our technology developed differently from what the textbooks said it should." "Are you saying the aliens' weapons might not work here?" "I am saying they will work very poorly. Their energy weapons are calibrated for normal space-time. In our anomaly field, they will probably just tickle." The world leaders decided to prepare for the alien arrival, but not to panic. Earth's military forces were put on alert. Emergency plans were made, but life continued mostly as normal. News reporters covered the coming alien invasion with the same tone they used for weather reports. "The alien conquest fleet should arrive sometime next Tuesday," announced BBC anchor James Morrison. "The government reminds citizens to remain calm and carry on with their daily activities." 3 months later, Admiral Vorthak's fleet arrived at Earth. It was an impressive sight. 10,000 warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Each ship was the size of a city. Their hulls were covered in weapons. Their shields could stop any attack the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Vorthak opened communication channels to Earth. "People of Earth," his voice boomed across every radio and television on the planet. "I am Admiral Vorthak of the Galactic Dominion. Your planet has been selected for incorporation into our empire. Surrender immediately and your species will be allowed to live as servants, resist, and face total annihilation." The response came from President Martinez, speaking from the United Nations building in New York. "Admiral Vorthak, this is President Elena Martinez speaking for Earth. Thank you for your message. We appreciate you letting us know you were coming. We have prepared coffee and snacks for your delegation. When would you like to meet?" Admiral Vorthak was confused. This was not how conquered species usually responded. "You misunderstand," he said. "This is not a diplomatic visit. This is a conquest. Surrender now, or we will destroy your cities." "We understand," President Martinez replied calmly. "But since you are here, we thought you might like to talk first. Our people in your empire said you were very reasonable." "Reasonable?" Admiral Vorthak looked around his bridge. His officers were all staring at him, waiting for orders. "We are not here to be reasonable. We are here to conquer." "Okay, President," Martinez said, "if that is what you prefer. But the coffee offer stands if you change your mind." Admiral Vorthak closed the communication channel and turned to his weapons officer. "Target their largest cities. Begin the bombardment." "Yes, Admiral," replied Weapons Officer Krexmol. "Firing quantum disruptors at maximum power." Bright beams of energy shot from the Dominion fleet toward Earth. The weapons were powerful enough to vaporize mountains. They struck Earth's atmosphere. And nothing happened. "Sir," Krexmol said, checking his instruments, "the quantum disruptors had no effect." "What do you mean, no effect?" "The energy beams are just bouncing off their magnetosphere." Admiral Vorthak frowned. "Try the reality bombs." "Firing reality bombs," Krexmol announced. Spheres of pure destruction launched toward Earth. These weapons could unmake matter at the quantum level. They hit Earth's atmosphere and fizzled out like wet fireworks. "Sir, The reality bombs are not working either. That is impossible. Try the planet crackers. The planet crackers were the Empire's most powerful weapons. They could split worlds in half. A dozen of them fired at Earth simultaneously. They could not even penetrate the atmosphere. Admiral Vorthak stared at the readings in disbelief. How are they doing this? Where are their shields? Sir, I am not detecting any defensive systems. The planet appears to be completely undefended. On Earth, people were watching the light show in the sky with mild interest. The alien weapons created pretty patterns in the upper atmosphere, but nothing reached the ground. Dr. Yoon Ji-hai was giving interviews to news stations around the world. As I predicted, their weapons are not calibrated for our local space-time conditions, she explained to a CNN reporter. Earth sits in a region where the fundamental constants of physics are slightly different. This makes us essentially immune to conventional galactic weapons. Is this why human technology seems so strange compared to alien technology? The reporter asked. Exactly. We had to develop different solutions because normal physics do not work quite right here. What seems primitive to them is actually more advanced in some ways. Back in space, Admiral Vorthak was getting desperate. He had fired every weapon in his arsenal at Earth and nothing had worked. Try the nuclear missiles, he ordered. Sir, nuclear weapons are considered primitive and ineffective. Just try them. The fleet fired a barrage of nuclear missiles at Earth. These were simple fusion weapons, not much different from what humans had invented centuries ago. The missiles struck Earth's defense satellites and exploded harmlessly in space. Even their primitive weapons do not work, Admiral Vorthak muttered. On Earth, the defense satellites had automatically intercepted the nuclear missiles. This was standard procedure that had been in place for decades. Admiral Communications. Officer Thexerol reported, "We are receiving a transmission from the planet." "Put it through," Admiral Vorthak said tiredly. The main screen showed Dr. Yoon Ji-hai sitting in her laboratory in Seoul. "Hello, Admiral Vorthak," she said cheerfully. "I hope you are not too frustrated. Your weapons are actually quite impressive, but they are designed for normal space. Earth's quantum anomaly field makes conventional energy weapons ineffective." "What is this quantum anomaly field?" Admiral Vorthak demanded. "A region of space where the fundamental constants are slightly different. It happens about once every billion star systems. We are just lucky enough to live in one. How do we overcome it? You would need to recalibrate all your weapons for local physics conditions." Admiral Vorthak was having the worst day of his military career. His mighty conquest fleet was floating helplessly above Earth, unable to do anything more dangerous than create pretty lights in the sky. "Sir," reported his science officer, "I have completed the analysis of Earth's quantum anomaly field." "Tell me you have found a way to overcome it," the admiral said. "I am afraid not, sir. The field covers the entire solar system. To operate weapons effectively here, we would need to completely rebuild our fleet with Earth-compatible technology. How long would that take?" "Several years, assuming we could learn their physics." Admiral Vorthak slumped in his command chair. This was supposed to be a simple conquest. Show up, fire some warning shots, accept the surrender, and go home. Instead, he was stuck dealing with humans who offered him coffee and a planet that was apparently immune to everything. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we are receiving another transmission from Earth." "More offers of coffee?" the admiral asked tiredly. "No, sir. This time it is from their military." The main screen showed a human woman in uniform. She had gray hair and calm eyes that reminded the admiral uncomfortably of Emperor Kralvex. "Admiral Vorthak," the woman said, "I am General Park Jae-sung of the Earth Defense Coalition. We have been analyzing your fleet and your weapons. We think it is time for a demonstration." "A demonstration of what?" "Earth military technology," General Park replied. "Since you came here to conquer us, we thought you should see what you are, trying to conquer." Before Admiral Vorthak could respond, alarms started going off all over his ship. "Sir!" his tactical officer shouted. "We are being targeted by some kind of sonic weapon." The sound hit the fleet like a physical force. It was not loud, but it was perfectly tuned to disrupt Dominion shield harmonics. Across the fleet, protective barriers flickered and failed. "Shields are down," the tactical officer reported. "All ships are defenseless." General Park's voice came over the communications channel again. "Those were our mining sonics, Admiral. We use them to break up asteroids. They work quite well against your shield frequency." Admiral Vorthak was beginning to understand why the humans had been so calm about being conquered. "Now," General Park continued, "we would like to show you our missiles." Launches were detected from Earth's surface. Not many missiles, maybe 50 or 60. They were small and primitive-looking compared to Dominion weapons. "Sir," the weapons officer said, "those appear to be simple nuclear devices. They cannot harm our armor." The missiles reached the fleet and exploded. But these were not normal nuclear explosions. Enhanced by Earth's quantum anomaly field, they released energy in ways that Dominion science had never seen before. 3 of Admiral Vorthak's smallest ships simply vanished. The others suffered massive damage as the strange explosions ate through their quantum-aligned hull armor like acid. "Report," the Admiral demanded. "We have lost 3 destroyers completely," his tactical officer said in shock. 7 more ships have taken critical damage. Their missiles somehow destabilized our hull matrix. On the communications screen, General Park nodded approvingly. "Earth physics are different, Admiral. Our weapons may look primitive, but they work very well in our space." Admiral Vorthak realized that his mighty conquest fleet was about to be destroyed by a species that still used nuclear weapons. "We surrender," he called out quickly. "Surrender?" General Park looked surprised. "You came here to conquer us, remember? We are just defending ourselves." "Your defenses are too strong. We cannot overcome them." "They are not really defenses," General Park explained. "This is just how physics work in our solar system. We are happy to explain it to you if you are interested in learning." The Admiral looked around his damaged bridge. Half his fleet was crippled, his weapons were useless, and the humans were offering to give him science lessons. "What do you want?" he asked. "What do you mean?" "For our surrender. What are your terms?" General Park thought about this for a moment. "How about we all just calm down and have that coffee President Martinez offered? Violence is not really solving anything here." Admiral Vorthak had conquered 47 worlds. He had faced the galaxy's most dangerous warriors. He had destroyed entire civilizations, but he had never encountered anything as terrifying as humans who responded to invasion by offering coffee and science lessons. Meanwhile, back on Viridian Prime, the human prisoners were becoming local celebrities. Tejo had started a cooking show that was broadcast across the Empire. Millions of aliens tuned in to watch him prepare simple human dishes while explaining Earth culture. "Today we are making kimchi," he announced to the camera. "This is a traditional Korean food made from fermented vegetables. The key is patience and the right balance of ingredients." In the studio audience, young aliens took notes while Tejo showed them how to prepare cabbage and mix spices. "On Earth," he continued, "we believe that sharing food is one of the best ways to build friendships. When we cook for someone, we show them that we care about their happiness and health." Prince Zarthek, the Emperor's youngest son, raised a tentacle to ask a question. "But Master Tejo, what if the food is not perfect? What if you make mistakes?" "Then you learn from the mistakes and try again," Tejo replied. "Perfection is not the goal. Improvement is the goal." This simple philosophy was revolutionary to the young aliens. In the Dominion, making mistakes was seen as failure. But humans seemed to think mistakes were just part of learning. Dongwook had become even more popular with the palace engineers. His suggestions for improving Imperial technology had saved the Empire enormous amounts of resources and energy. Why? Did no one think of this before? Chief Engineer Mektar asked as they reviewed Dongwook's latest proposal. Probably because you were not allowed to suggest changes, Dongwook replied. On Earth, we believe the best ideas can come from anyone. A junior engineer might see something that a senior engineer misses. But what about hierarchy? What about respecting your superiors? We do respect experience and knowledge, Dongwook explained. But we also believe that good ideas should be judged on their merit, not on who suggested them. Mektar was struggling with this concept. You mean a lower-ranking engineer could correct a higher-ranking one? If the lower-ranking engineer is right, yes. Being right is more important than being senior. Word of these conversations spread through the palace's engineering corps. Soon, junior engineers were speaking up with their own ideas. Efficiency in the palace improved dramatically. So Min had accidentally started a revolution among the Empire's young nobles by teaching them about democracy. So every human gets to choose their leaders? Asked Lady Vex Tara, a young alien who looked like a walking flower made of crystal. Every adult human, yes, So Min confirmed. We vote for the people we think will make the best decisions for everyone. But what if they choose poorly? Then we choose different leaders next time. Democracy is not perfect, but it is better than having no choice at all. Have you ever chosen poorly? Many times, So Min laughed. That is how we learn to choose better. The young nobles found this idea fascinating. In the Dominion, leaders were chosen by birth or by conquest. The idea that ordinary people could select their own government was completely new. Ye-Jin had become the Empire's most popular entertainment figure by teaching aliens about human video games, movies, and music. This is called rock, paper, scissors, she explained to a group of alien children. It is a simple game that humans use to make decisions or just have fun. The alien children loved the game. Soon, adults were playing it too. Rock, paper, scissors tournaments were being held across the Empire. Why do humans create so many games? Asked Dr. Zethkai, the flower-like scientist. Because play is important, Ye-Jin replied. Games teach us to think creatively, to solve problems, and to have fun with each other. A species that cannot play cannot truly grow. Even Emperor Kralvex had started watching the human cooking show. He found Taeho's philosophy about mistakes and improvement very interesting. Your Majesty, General Vakthar said during one of their daily briefings, the humans are having a strange effect on our people. Many of our citizens are beginning to question traditional ways of doing things. Is this bad? The Emperor asked. I'm not sure, Your Majesty. Productivity is up across the Empire. Our engineers are proposing improvements to everything. Our young people are more engaged in their studies, but they are also asking more questions. What kind of questions? Questions about why we do things the way we do them. Questions about whether there might be better ways. Questions about choice and freedom and democracy. Emperor Kralvex thought about this. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years through strength and fear. But the humans seemed to have found a different way to live. A way based on cooperation and constant improvement. General, he said finally, contact Admiral Vorthak. Ask him how the conquest of Earth is proceeding. The answer came back quickly. The conquest has encountered unexpected difficulties, Your Majesty. What kind of difficulties? The humans appear to be immune to our weapons. Also, they keep offering us coffee. Emperor Kralvex rubbed his temples. He was getting a headache. On Earth, the situation was becoming almost boring. Admiral Vorthak's fleet was still in orbit, but they had stopped trying to attack. 6 months after the failed invasion of Earth, the Galactic Dominion was falling apart. It started small. A few worlds in the Outer Rim declared independence after their populations learned about democracy from human broadcasts. Then entire sectors began voting to leave the Empire. Soon, even core worlds were questioning why they needed an emperor at all. Emperor Kralvex sat on his diamond throne, watching reports of rebellion come in from across his empire. General Vakthar stood beside him, looking tired and confused. The Vrex system has declared independence, the general reported. They say they want to try this democracy thing. The Andromedan Science Council has voted to become an autonomous republic. Even our own palace guards are asking for weekends off. Weekends? Emperor Kralvex asked. Time away from work for rest and personal activities. The humans taught them. About it? The Emperor looked over at the 4 humans who were sitting in his throne room, playing cards and teaching young nobles about something called poker. They had become permanent fixtures in the palace, no longer prisoners, but not quite guests either. This is all your fault, he said to them. Tejo looked up from his cards. Sorry about that. We did not mean to cause problems. You taught my subjects to question authority. We taught them to think for themselves, Somin corrected. There is a difference. How is there a difference? If people think for themselves, they will not obey orders. Only bad orders, Dongwook said. Good orders make sense, so people will follow them willingly. Emperor Kralvex felt his headache getting worse. How do I rule an empire if everyone is thinking for themselves? Maybe you do not, Hyojin suggested. Maybe you let them rule themselves. But then what would I do? Whatever makes you happy, Tejo said. What did you like to do before you became emperor? The emperor thought about this for a long time. I like to cook, he admitted. Before I inherited the throne, I worked in the palace kitchens. I was good at creating new recipes. So go cook, Somin said. Make the food you want to make. But the empire will probably be fine without you, Dongwook said. Most things run themselves if you let them. This conversation was being broadcast live across the galaxy, just like everything that happened in the throne room these days. Billions of beings heard their emperor admit that he would rather be cooking than ruling. On Earth, President Martinez was dealing with a completely different problem. Every day, new alien species were arriving to join what humans were calling the Galactic Cooperative. Earth had accidentally become the center of galactic civilization. Madam President, said her chief of staff, we have 17 more worlds requesting membership in the cooperative today. They want to establish embassies on Earth. Do we have room for 17 more embassies? We are running out of space. Also, the aliens from Rigel 7 want to open a restaurant, and the crystalline beings from Alpha Centauri are asking about mineral rights. President Martinez rubbed her temples. Leading one planet had been hard enough. Somehow, Earth had become responsible for coordinating thousands of worlds. What do the other world leaders think about this? Prime Minister Chen says the trade opportunities are excellent. President Okafor thinks we should charge rent for the embassy space. Director Kim is excited about all the new technology we are learning. And what does Admiral Vorthak think? Admiral Vorthak had become Earth's unofficial liaison to the former Dominion military. After his failed conquest, he had decided to stay on Earth and study human conflict resolution techniques. He thinks we should establish regional councils, the chief of staff continued. Let each group of worlds govern themselves, but coordinate through Earth for major decisions. That actually sounds reasonable. He also wants to start a gaming stream where he plays human video games with alien viewers. Less reasonable, but harmless. The truth was that humans had accidentally created the most successful form of galactic government in history simply by refusing to govern anyone. When alien worlds asked Earth for guidance, humans would say, "Do whatever works best for you." When conflicts arose between species, humans would suggest, "Why do you not just talk about it?" When ancient enemies wanted to start wars, humans would ask, "But why, though?" This casual, common-sense approach to galactic politics was revolutionary. No one had ever tried solving problems by simply asking everyone to be reasonable. Back on Viridian Prime, Emperor Kralvex made his decision. "I am stepping down," he announced to the galaxy during his final Imperial broadcast. "The age of the Dominion is over. From now on, each world will choose its own path." The announcement caused celebration on some worlds and panic on others. Many planets had never governed themselves before. "What do we do now?" asked the confused leaders of 1,000 different species. The answer came from an unexpected source: the 4 humans who had started this whole mess. "You figure it out," Tejo said during a galaxy-wide broadcast. "Try different things, see what works, learn from your mistakes, ask for help when you need it." "But who will make the big decisions?" asked a desperate planetary governor. "You will," Somin replied. "All of you, working together." "What if we disagree?" "Then you talk until you find something you can all accept," Dongwook suggested. "Or you agree to disagree and try something else." "What if we fail?" "Then you try again," Heejin said. "Failure is just practice for success." These simple ideas became the foundation of the Galactic Cooperative. No central authority, no emperor, no conquest. Just beings from different worlds working together when they wanted to, and leaving each other alone when they did not. It worked surprisingly well. Trade increased across the galaxy as species shared resources freely. Scientific advancement accelerated as researchers collaborated without political barriers. Wars became rare because most conflicts could be resolved by asking, "What do you actually want and how can we all get it?" Former Emperor Kralvex opened a restaurant on Earth called the Golden Scale. He specialized in fusion cuisine, combining recipes from dozens of different worlds. Tejo became his business partner and head chef. "This is much better than ruling an empire," Kralvex said as they prepared for the evening rush. "Less stressful," Tejo agreed. "Also, people actually enjoy what we create instead of just fearing it." Admiral Vorthak became incredibly popular as a gaming streamer. His channel, Admiral Plays Human Games, had viewers from across the galaxy. He was particularly good at strategy games, though he struggled with anything that required creativity. "Today we are playing a game called Minecraft," he announced to his millions of viewers. "The objective is to build whatever you want. This is difficult for me because I am used to following orders, not making creative decisions." His viewers loved watching the galaxy's former greatest military mind struggle with the concept of building things just for fun. General Vakthar became Earth's first alien citizen and opened a security consulting business. His company specialized in helping former Dominion worlds transition from military rule to civilian government. "The key," he would tell his clients, "is to remember that government should serve the people, not the other way around. I learned this from watching Humans." The 4 humans who had accidentally changed galactic history tried to return to their normal lives. But it was not easy. They were famous across the galaxy. Every alien wanted to meet them. Every world wanted them to visit. "This is weird," Somin said as they sat in a cafe in Seoul, trying to enjoy a quiet lunch. "We just wanted to explore space." "Now we are ambassadors for the entire human species," Dongwook added. "Could be worse," Tejo pointed out. "We could be stuck in alien prison." "True," Hyejin agreed. "And the food here is better than palace rations." A young alien approached their table. She looked like a walking flower made of crystal, and she was clearly nervous. "Excuse me," she said in perfect Korean. "Are you the humans who taught the galaxy about democracy?" "We are 4 of them," Tejo replied. "There are many humans, and they all have good ideas. I am Lady Vextara from the Crystalline Worlds. I wanted to thank you. Because of what you taught us, our people voted to join the Galactic Cooperative. For the first time in our history, we get to choose our own leaders." "That is wonderful," Somin said. "How are you enjoying democracy?" "It is messy and confusing and sometimes frustrating," Lady Vexitara replied. "But it is ours. We chose it ourselves." "That is the important part," Dongwook said. After the young alien left, the 4 humans sat in comfortable silence for a while. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Hyejin asked eventually. I think we did the human thing, Teho replied. We saw a problem and tried to fix it. By accident, So Min added. The best solutions usually are accidents, Dongwook said. They finished their lunch and walked back to their apartment. Outside, they could see alien ships coming and going from Earth's orbital stations. The sky was full of beings from different worlds, all working together. It was not perfect. There were still conflicts and problems and disagreements. But for the first time in galactic history, those problems were being solved by cooperation instead of conquest. You know what? Hae-jin said as she looked up at the busy sky. I think we actually made things better. Not bad for a species that just figured out faster than light travel, Teho agreed. Though next time, So Min said, let us try to save the galaxy on purpose.